Kuzongpo, this is Radio on TV. This week we have Sangay Dorji. He's the head of Business Information Center. Business Information Center is under the Business Opportunity and Information Center, BOiC, and he's here to share information on services and support that the center provides for all. We'll find out more. What kind of opportunities that are there for people to avail of?
Well, now the Business Information Opportunity and Information Center has been established by the government for a very specific purpose. Considering the economic situation of our country, which is not going through the best of times, I'm sure everyone's aware of the government's economic stimulus plan. So the BOiC has been established as a part of the economic stimulus plan, and a sum of 1.9 billion has been allocated to the BOiC. And the main objective of setting up the BOiC and the purpose is to foster the growth of cottage and small industries in our country.
Okay, the very reason that we have started this show is to help a lot of young people to think out of box, for that matter, to if they can self-employ themselves, or maybe in the future, even if they can create employment for that matter. So how BOiC help these young people like who want to do something on their own?
Yes, personally, I cannot see a better opportunity for young graduates or the youth who are not employed at this point in time. Now, BOiC, like I said, has been established to foster the growth of cottage and small industries in the country. Now, what we need to understand is, under the cottage and small industries, there are three categories. So it's like a criteria, but let me come to your point after I say this. Under the cottage and small industries, there are three categories. First is services, the other is manufacturing, and the last one is production. BOiC has been mandated to provide access to finance, to production and manufacturing sectors. So the reason why we are supporting manufacturing and production is because if you look at the data in the Ministry of Economic Affairs, of the total industries, about 96%, I think, if I'm not mistaken, about 96% is made up of cottage and small industries. Of this 96%, about 90% is services. So that's why I think government wanted us to focus on manufacturing and production. Now, the fact that production and manufacturing is very less in the country, it goes to show that there are not many entrepreneurs who are looking to start businesses along the manufacturing and the production lines. So why I said I cannot see a better opportunity for our youth is because our youth, especially the graduates, they're educated. They have the ability, they have the knowledge to explore in the country as to the opportunities that are there for them to explore. So therefore, for most people in our country, one of the main reasons why people are not able to start businesses is due to the major reason being due to lack of finance. So today the government has come up front trying to incentivize our people, not just the youth themselves, but I think it's a great opportunity because government is providing this access to finance, 4% interest. It's virtually free money. So I think if people are willing, our youth, educated youth, are willing to put in a little bit of effort to explore some opportunities along those manufacturing and production industries, I think there's a lot of opportunity for them to become a job creator as opposed to being a job seeker.
So when you said a little bit of effort, so they'll have to think in line of where they could produce something or manufacture something. Is that so? Or they can come up with any ideas they have on their head?
Well, first of all, as a graduate, depends on what degree did you take up, what educational background did you have. Firstly, it depends on that. Depending on that, some of them already might have ideas in their head. They just need to translate it into action. Secondly, as long as you're educated, lah. Now, all of us in Bhutan, even though we stay in Thimphu because we're employed, we're working here, our roots are, elsewhere. Elsewhere in Bhutan, we all of us have a village. We come from remote places. Our parents, or for that matter, our grandparents, they're all uneducated farmers. Back in the villages, and the reason why I say they need to explore is they don't explore only in the urban areas like Thimphu and all. If they can go back to their villages, today a lot of the land in the villages, if you travel around, they're lying fallow. So when we talk about production, it's mostly to do with agri-based businesses. It can be production of any kind of food products or fruits or agro-based, so on and so forth. So everybody has some their own land lying fallow, these kind of things back home. So they can go back to their villages and see what grows best in the place where they come from. Then they can capitalize on those and then come to BOiC for the necessary service that we provide.
So broadly, what kind of support and services that BOiC provides?
Now, because BOiC is mainly focused on new business startups, we want to promote entrepreneurs. Our services are mainly based on three fundamental of starting a business. So number one is information, number two is skills, number three is finance. If you have adequate knowledge about these three, or have these three in abundance, you can rest assured that you'll become a successful entrepreneur. But today most of our aspiring entrepreneurs lack in one or the other of these three main fundamentals of starting a business. So we have services divided mainly into two categories. We provide administrative support, and then of course the main one, we provide access to finance.
So you broadly said that, but when it comes to administrative support, can you outline some of the specifics?
Now when I say administrative,
do you help them to formulate a business plan?
So when I say business, administrative support, basically what I'm referring to here is, even if you have the required finance, it's just not easy to, start up a business. Like I said, our services are mainly based on the three fundamentals of starting a business. So administrative support mainly covers the first two aspects, the information part and the skills part. So on the information part today, if you want to start a business, there are a lot of information that you need to gather. For a simple reason like getting a license, there are a lot of procedures involved. So you actually need to know which government agency is responsible for providing license for what kind of businesses, from which government agencies are you required to get permits, say clearances, so on and so forth, things like that. So we try and gather all this information in the Business Information Center, and everyone who walks into our office, we aspire to be able to give them this information. Tell them where to go in order to get a license, tell them where to go, how to do, how to go about in getting a clearances, all these things. And when it comes to skills, we also provide a lot of just now not been able to do much, but soon we'll be conducting a lot of trainings for our clients, for the BOiC clients, because we need to enhance their skills. If the project which they are starting with the support of BOiC, if they are to become successful, we need to keep enhancing their skills. So we aspire to train them along those lines, and so far we have conducted for example an integrated approach to entrepreneurship program, where we try to bring all the stakeholders which has directly or indirectly some role to play in starting a business in the country. Government agencies, private sectors, So we try to bring all of them together, have a integrated understanding on starting up businesses, things like that. We also conduct workshops, have plans to conduct workshops for entrepreneurship development in the near future. So administrative support essentially refers to these services which we provide.
So how is it going to be different than what DHI and BCCI are already doing?
Yes.
Or are you working with them?
Yes, like I said, we are trying to bring everybody on the same platform, have the same understanding. Today what's happening is, there are a lot of agencies, be it government, non-government, NGOs, who are doing things that are not very different from what BOiC is doing. But my personal observation is most of them, they are doing things in silos. No one's really aware of what the other is doing. So if we need to develop entrepreneurs in our country, I think we should give them these adequate information as to who is doing what. So therefore we aspire to become like a one-stop center for providing information in terms of business startups.
In fact, it is a one-stop
Yes, it is.
center.
We try to provide information that's just not only related to the BOiC offerings, but we try to go beyond. We try to touch on every information that's there that we feel is important for our entrepreneurs to grow in the country. So, for example, I don't think DHI would do that. That's basically the difference.
Now, let's talk more about the financial aspect. So what is the maximum amount one person can avail from BOiC to start a project?
Yes. Now, before that, on the financial service part, I just like to say that BOiC provides, we follow a two-pronged approach when it comes to financial support. The first one is now basically people will bring in business proposals. We appraise them, and if they are found technically feasible and financially viable, then we provide financial support. The other one is, we have not been able to kick it off yet because we have very limited staff in the office, and there are just too many things to do at this point. But the other approach is we're also going to explore opportunities ourselves within the country along the manufacturing and production lines to start off industries and make business plans ourselves, and then float them to the general public, and then provide financial support. Now, the financial support is provided through what we call Revolving Fund 1 and 2. The Revolving Fund 1 is mainly for cottage and small industries, and the Revolving Fund 2 is to support what we call non-formal commercial activities, and that's mainly for people residing in the very rural areas who will not be able to handle big businesses. So this is the approach that we follow.
So when you said revolving fund, what is the revolving fund?
So, it's just a term given to the service that we provide. Now the revolving is the idea is actually we provide financial support. Okay, with that you generate certain income through the interest earned, and when the income is generated from the interest earned, again we use that money to fund other projects. So basically we keep revolving. So that's why the term revolving fund has been used. Now, under the Revolving Fund 1, the maximum amount a person can avail is 8 million, that's 80 lakhs. And under the Revolving Fund 2, the amount is only 1 lakh. And for Revolving Fund 1, to avail service of the Revolving Fund 1, you need to make a business proposal or a business plan. And Revolving Fund 2 is basically application based. You need not make a business plan or a proposal.
And when you give, you don't disperse that money at one go, right?
Yes.
Or do you give that 800,000 at one go? Once the proposal is accepted by BOiC?
Well, that's one of our criteria. We don't now because Now, if I talk in detail about all the criterias that we have and all that, I think time would not permit. So I'll just specifically,
if you can be
stick
brief,
to,
yeah,
stick to your questions. Okay, la. Our funding support that we give access to la, is basically collateral free. We're not like a profit making financial institutions like Bhutan National Bank or Bank of Bhutan. We're not like those institutions. We're just here to facilitate people and give them access to finance through these revolving funds. And these funds which they get access to is they are collateral free. So therefore we need to do a lot of risk management. And because of which we had to develop a lot of criteria. So not providing all the funds that gets approved in a go is one of the criteria. For example, you come to avail a loan on certain project from BOiC and it gets sanctioned and approved. And the total amount that you had proposed for is, let's say, 40 lakhs. So we'll not disburse the entire amount in one go. We'll disburse the fund phase wise based on your requirement. So
as the project progresses.
So initially, in order to start up whatever business it is that you want to start, what it is that you require, what are the equipments that you need to buy. So based on these kind of calculations, we divide the business into phase wise and then divide the fund accordingly and then disburse. We don't disburse the fund at a go, because the chances are that if we disburse the entire
amount,
40 lakhs or 4 million at a go, the chances of the fund getting diverted and not being used for the intended purpose is very very big.
So do you get a lot of people with that kind of intention?
Well, initially when people did not know about our criteria and all, they were frank enough to come up, and then they used to say they were very frank enough to say all that. But then when we told them about the criteria, some get irritated, some get frustrated, because the amount that we disburse phase wise is not going to help whatever it is that they have in mind. So there was nothing we could do about it. We had to disappoint them. There was nothing we could do.
So there were a lot of disappointed people also, who didn't come with the intention to do something, but just to get the money.
I think so, because when they heard that now BOiC is providing loans at 4% interest, I think initially most of people had that intention. Personally, my own observation, because I sit at the Business Information Center where people walk in, and then when you interact with them, you can actually find out. And because our funding is only for new startup businesses, and then not for expansion of the existing business that are not doing so well, or not for clearing up loans that you might have in the other business that are not doing so well. So then we had to tell all these to them very clearly. Then after they understood, then I think they get the feeling that whatever they have in mind is not going to be fulfilled by the kind of services that we are providing. So
when it comes to startup business, because you said if somebody has an idea, you'll support it. But when you are talking about new business with the young people, especially dealing with the young people, do you also help them to make a business plan? Or do you have that kind of expertise in your office?
We do have the expertise. Some of the colleagues are competent enough to make business plans. But like I said earlier, just now...
to what extent can you help them?
Actually, we have people who can develop the entire business plan. But because we have just started, it's been barely 3 months since we have opened business to public, open ourselves to public. And the number of projects and number of people we're getting today is very overwhelming, because of which most of us are multitasking. We are doing things that are out of our TOR, even the CEO himself, the directors, myself included, and all our colleagues. We all are multitasking just now in order to cover up all the backlogs, because the number of people, we're only 22, and the number of proposals and the people walking in is just overwhelming. And in order to not keep things pending for too long, we're all multitasking, and even on weekends we are working.
Is it going to happen in the future? This kind of help, are you going to extend it?
Just now, the first lot of projects that we're getting, we're taking it a bit slow and giving it as much time as we can, because we don't want to make any mistakes and create unnecessary precedents. Because once we create a precedence, then the floodgates will open. There will be nothing we can do about it. So because of which, the first initial proposals that we received, of course, just now there are a lot of people complaining that they have submitted their business plan. It's been more than a month and there's been no status update. We understand, they're absolutely correct, and we have only three fund appraisers under the RF1. Of course, under the RF2, things are flowing very fluently. There is no problem under the RF2 because it's only application based. So there we have no problem. But for the RF1, we received a lot of proposals, and because we take quite some time to appraise the projects, because we do not have collaterals. Okay, so in order to see that the project which the people have proposed is going to work, is going to be successful, it all depends on the proposal which they have submitted. So it is our duty, in our interest and in their interest in the future, to see that whatever they have proposed is going to be viable, technically feasible, is going to be successful, is going to be useful for them. And if it's going to be useful for the proponents, eventually what will happen is it will of course be helpful for the government, and eventually it's going to help the economic situation of the country. So, but now we got endorsement from the board also to recruit 3 more fund appraisals. So, and one of our objective is now by end of November, we want to have some sort of status update on all the projects that we have received till date.
To extend this kind of services to the startup business, you need additional people.
Yes, we felt the requirement as we started thing.
So once the loan is disbursed, how do you follow up to make sure that the business is working?
Well,
and what should a person do once they get the money?
Yes, now the procedure is like this. We appraise the projects. Now once the project is found viable and is approved, we sanction it, and then we forward the disbursement order to the Bhutan Development Bank. That by the way, the Bhutan Development Bank is our partner bank. We have signed an MOU with them. So the BOiC ourselves, we don't deal in fund disbursement, opening of accounts, so on and so forth. All the fund related, post sanction related activities will be carried out by BDBL. So they'll do the necessary monitoring, interest calculation, all that will be done by our partner bank, BDBL. So we have already signed an MOU with them. But BOiC, of course, because we are the ones who appraise the project, we will be involved in
project implementation.
Yes, monitoring. So we need to make sure that the phase which they said they'll complete within a given period of time are being done on time, so that we can disperse the fund for the next phase. So to ensure that everything is on track, we need to be involved in monitoring ourselves also.
And the people who have bad record with other banks, they won't get the loan from BOiC. Again,
that's one of the criteria that we have. We use the Credit Information Bureau. So today, if you go to the Credit Information Bureau and you punch in your
ID card
or citizen identity card number in their system, all your records will come in. So the amount of loans that you have, in which financial institution, all the details are given. So that's also one of our risk management strategy. And if the person, the proponent of the business person, happens to have loans with other financial institutions and has a bad record of being a defaulter, then he's not eligible for financial support from BOiC.
On that note, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sure there are many aspiring entrepreneurs out there who are planning to do something, and I do hope you found it useful. And thank you very much for joining this program. This is Radio on TV. I'm Ashok Tirwa saying goodbye for now.